thank you very much. It's a great privilege for me to be here, and thank you that you've enabled us that you invited us. I really just want to make 2 points. If you look at the community survey results, which Stats South Africa published 2 weeks or so ago, then it seems to me there are 2 big issues that jump out at us. You can go through all these statistics, but the 2 things that struck me were the following. Nearly 20%, that's 1 in every 5 households, run out of money for food before the end of the month. 1 out of every 5 households run out of money for food before the end of the month. Something like 14% of all households actually skip meals simply because they don't have the means. And I think it is unacceptable in a country like ours, which is a country with enormous wealth, a country with enormous talent, a country with enormous available infrastructure, that we have these kinds of levels of hunger. I think it is something that all of us should attend to. And I've got 1 or 2 ideas, but we can talk about that. We can talk about that later. The second issue I would like to put on the table is simply education for women. Again, from these statistics, it is quite clear that women have made enormous progress in South Africa in reaching parity with men when it comes to education levels. There's been very, very good progress. But it's also clear that particularly in the rural provinces, Limpopo, KwaZulu-Natal, and in the Eastern Cape, the proportion of women who actually complete school and get education are lower than the proportion of men. And that seems to me as completely unnecessary. This country has got an abundance of talent in what you can call the female society. I'm Afrikaans, I come from an Afrikaans background. Let me tell you, Afrikaners in this country, white people wouldn't be where they are if it wasn't for women who picked up the burden and did an enormous amount of work. There's an old joke. If you want to talk about important matters, should South Africa belong to the United Nations? Must South Africa belong to BRICS or not? If you want to talk about those important matters, talk to the men. If you want to talk about unimportant things, where does the money come from for the family? Who's going to feed the children? To which schools will the children go? And so on. Talk to the woman. And I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. And we cannot continue, well, continue is the wrong word. I think if we want to create a better future, it must be one where we enable the women of South Africa to achieve the same level of education that men have.